Okay. That's fair. Hello, this is Scott and Brian from the Weave Generation channel. And today we have a special guest, Barb from the Independence House. And she is going to talk about Alzheimer's disease.
Well, hello. I'm the marketing director for Independence Houses located here in Lincoln. We do have 4 locations and deal exclusively with Alzheimer's and dementia type issues. When people say Alzheimer's, they think that it's all-encompassing, but really the term dementia is more all-encompassing because there's so many kinds of dementia. Alzheimer's is the first kind that most people associate forgetfulness with, if you will. Symptoms include poor judgment, problems in speaking, losing things, not being able to track, and so forth. But Alzheimer's is just one kind. Unfortunately, the only way people know for sure you have Alzheimer's is after death, and an autopsy is performed, because medications can control the disease to a point, but it's progressive. It's only going to slow it down. Another kind of dementia also is vascular dementia, which often follows a stroke. My mother went through that. There's problems in speaking, not so much forgetfulness, but usually it progresses from then on. Probably the biggest known dementia at this time is dementia with Lewy bodies, which is similar to what Robin Williams and Casey Kasem just died from. So people think they're losing their mind when it's hallucinations plus all the other symptoms I already suggested. So again, no treatment for this. It's just only you can control what you can control. Parkinson's disease dementia is progressive, and it develops in 50 to 80% of people that already have Parkinson's disease. Again, it's very progressive, and what I thought was interesting, it is the highest per capita in Nebraska in the United States. Most, for whatever reason, I don't know what that would be, but I thought that was interesting. Some dementias, too, are mixtures of one or two together. The vascular and the Parkinson's are very similar. Pick's disease, where you become fixated on things, that has to deal with your frontotemporal lobes in your brain. And again, it's proteins that are developing incorrectly in your brain. Other types include Huntington's disease, which is more a genetic factor. Symptoms don't start till you're in your 30s or 30s to 50s, and it's very fast. It's a genetic thing, and today there's no known cure. Other types, people who drink a lot, it's a Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, and that's a type of dementia. So there's many different kinds. The best thing to do is, if you see somebody maybe changing in their personality, get them to the doctor so they can get diagnosed with the right type of dementia, and then that can be treated to the best of their ability. If they're staying at home, you need to keep the home safe, good lights, good locks on the doors, even stickers on the window at eye level so people know there's a window there, so they won't walk into it. Posting no solicitor signs on your door, only because if somebody came to the door, that person may have the door open and out they go. So that's probably the biggest thing right now. Like I said, medications can slow it down, but it doesn't stop the disease at all. If you know somebody with dementia has been diagnosed, talk to them as early as possible about what they want to do as the disease progresses. Get their do not resuscitate orders into line, talk with them about living wills and that sort of thing. See what they want down the road. The behaviors treat like a mystery. Every behavior is triggered by something. So are they more restless when they're hungry? Are they agitated when there's too much noise or light? So that way you can kind of control it within the house. Sometimes just getting into your own personal space, they get agitated. So if you can kind of stop and think why that person is the way it is and what triggered that, that would be a good place to start.
Is sundowners somewhat related to this a little bit?
That's a dementia.
Okay.
People have sundowners. Typically, people always came home from work. They had a routine. They took care of the kids. They got dinner, and you'll see people think, "Okay, it's time to go home now," and that's when they get restless as well with sundowners. So that's very much a form of dementia.
Okay.
So, like I said, if you're staying at home, just some basic common sense things, but put the appliances that are dangerous away, lock things up, use child-proof latches, smoke detectors, alarms. Keep the medical team that you use, their phone numbers and such by every phone, because if you have somebody in there and if something happens right away, you can't go searching for that phone number. Keep numbers thing. But you have to take care of yourself if you are the caregiver, because if something happens to you, then who's going to take care of that person? You know, you can't always call the neighbor in. You can't always call your kids in. They have jobs too. So it's important for you to keep care of yourself if you are the caregiver.
And Barb, there's respite agencies out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Respite can come into your home for the day if you want to run some errands. You can take them to a daycare center. You can have overnight stays. A lot of people do that when they're going on a trip. And the feeling is that you should do that anyway. Get them used to a situation, because if an emergency came up within your home, that you had to find someplace really quick. Because admitting somebody into a facility or a daycare center, you have to go through all the paperwork anyway. And it just takes time if an emergency comes up. So investigate the places out that you want, whether you want them to come into the house, whether you want them to go out. But I'll put a little plug in for going out into a facility only because they can communicate with people similar to themselves, and they can get to know the staff and maybe play or role play games or do activities
Where the person with Alzheimer's or dementia can go
feeling
out there and visit and kind of get used to the environment.
Right. And they're not feeling like they're the only one with this symptom. You know, they can go out into a place and, you know, they do activities and so forth. We always invite people into our facilities here in Lincoln. Come out anytime or call for a tour. Just drop in. What I was always amazed when I started this position was how people are not in their rooms. Their room is considered their bedroom. The public spaces are the living rooms, the other spaces. They're not in their rooms. They're out doing activities, they're singing, they're conversing, they're having coffee, they're reading the paper. Just because you have dementia doesn't mean you don't have a life. But the caregiver, you know, really needs to be cognizant of their needs. But they have to take care of themselves first. Trying these places out in a non-emergency situation will really be beneficial down the line. I thought this was a statistic I thought was interesting. Last year there was 15 million caregivers for family and friends, and they gave 17.9 billion hours of unpaid care, which the value was placed at 218 billion. So imagine if these people were not pursuing the role of caregiver. You know, what would they do?
How would the family handle that?
Right.
Is there, through the Alzheimer's Association, is there any respite paid programs out there?
There used to be a program, and don't quote me, I don't work for them, but there used to be a program where they could apply for funds. I know where I work with Independence Houses, we have a foundation set up funded by golf tournaments and trunk or treats and things, where families can apply, say for a day of respite care, or sometimes they look at a case-by-case basis, so they can try this out and see if it's something they want. Any place should let you try something out on a, you know, I'm sure for a fee maybe, but they should let you try it. There's no contracts involved in these places, you know. You can stay at these places as long as you want. Basically, how we treat Alzheimer's and dementia where I work is specialized assisted living. We are not skilled care, we are not a hospital. So we think we give a nice alternative that is less costly than going to a nursing home or hospital. Maybe you just you had a chemo treatment, or you have diabetes and your diet is all out of wonk. So you can come in here, we can get you back on track, you can go home. That's more the palliative side of care, but that's what's, you know, my mission is to show that there are other alternatives to skilled care, which are 10 times more expensive than what we have.
Very good, Barb. Very good. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right. And thank you so much, Barb, for coming today. Barb with the Independence House here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And again, thanks for joining us on the Weave Generation channel. Again, we're weaving the generational gap to further understand the roles that we play as a functional nation. If you want to contact us, we'd love to hear from you. Our phone number is 402-413-0221. Or you can send us an email with a question or comment to weavegeneration@gmail.com. And again, on behalf of Scott and Brian and Barb, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you soon.
usually do that segment so I can edit it. Because if we jump up, I can't edit it.
Oh, I